Hi guys, how you doing? That was more like it, wasn't it? A Newcastle win full of intensity, high pressing, everything you guys have asked for, and you're through to the last eight of the Carabao Cup. I've just watched the draw inside the rooftops up here at St James's Park at the corner of the Gallowgate end, and the place erupted when Newcastle were drawn at home, and then erupted again with those who were left in here when Brentford were drawn. Now, I don't think anyone's saying Brentford's an easy game, but of all the options available to Newcastle, a home tie against Brentford to get into the last four is as good as they could have asked for at this stage. And I think just reward for dismantling Chelsea here at St James's Park tonight. Just look at this place, the stadium behind me, the pitch, just after Newcastle's 2-0 win. And I was asked the question outside there just as I came up from one of the other fans' YouTube channels, and they said to me, is that Newcastle's best performance of the season? I think it was. I think it was our most important performance of the season, because I think if you were to have lost tonight, there would have been a lot of pressure on the Arsenal game on Saturday, whereas I think now you just bounce into that game on the back of that tonight. There's certain players who have come in, probably given the manager something to think about, and I think it now makes him a little bit more difficult to pick the team on Saturday, because, you know, what do you do with Bruno now? What do you do with Barnes now? What do you do with Dan Burn now? What do you do with Livramento? There's questions and there's options, and it's exactly what Newcastle United needed at this stage. I thought the intensity was there from the start. The pressing was great. Eddie said for a while now that the pressing they've not quite been at it. I thought it was right from the word go they were at it with the pressing, and you know that the goal for Isak, which was set up by TONALI, who of course pressed, and the whole team pressed. Chelsea couldn't handle it, tried to play out from the back, and a cool finish from Isak into the corner. And then what I then liked about that is Newcastle went for the throat, went for the jugular, and got a second one a couple of minutes later, and essentially put the tie to bed. So look, they did everything they needed to do. Thought they saw the game out well in the second half. I thought it was quite clever from Eddie going to a back five when Chelsea sort of changed their system. I asked him about it in the tunnel afterwards, and he said, look, it wasn't about resting people, it was just about they had so many attackers on the pitch, we needed those extra defenders, and it meant someone like Lloyd Kelly, who started at left-sided centre-back in a 4, going out to left wing-back, which is a big change for him. Again, I spoke to him after the match in the tunnel as well, and he said it was kind of strange getting swapped around, but it just shows what they will do for the team to try and get over the line. On Kelly, I thought he was excellent tonight. A couple of amazing blocks down this end in the first half, and he's got real pace getting back in. He's an athlete, and you know, there might be a bit of mileage in perhaps giving him a bit of a run at left-sided centre-back. Dan Burn's done really well in there, but perhaps Dan Burn could maybe go back to being an option to haul it left-back. But I just feel Kelly probably deserves his chance at left-sided centre-half. And I thought that was a really, really mature performance, really impressive performance from him tonight. I was doing the interviews in the tunnel for Sky tonight, and I obviously had a chat with Eddie before the game, and I just caught a little sense of, not relief, but I think when he saw the Chelsea lineup, he realised they'd made 11 changes, changed their entire starting 11. They left 8 of the starting 11 on Sunday at home tonight. They stayed in London, didn't even travel up here to the northeast, which just shows the options and the riches that they have. You know, it's incredible to think that Caicedo didn't travel, Lavia didn't travel, the goalkeeper Sanchez didn't travel, Gusto, Reece James, the front three, Jackson, none of these guys travelled. Neto, unbelievable they left that quality of player at home, but yet the starting 11 still looked very strong. But look, I think that showed tonight that you need to be playing week in, week out. You need to have that kind of understanding with your teammates to be able to put it on at this level. And I think they came to St James's Park tonight, which was a cauldron. The atmosphere is as good as I've seen it this season. And I think they were up against a motivated team in Newcastle who were desperate to get through to the last 8, desperate to end their trophy drought. I think it was a really hard game for them. However, I do feel that when you see the team he played, when you see the fact he didn't bring on Maresca, didn't bring on Cole Palmer towards the end when they were searching for a goal, I think that showed that, I'm not saying he was relieved to be out of the competition, but I think it probably suits Chelsea a little bit in the bigger picture. Had they gone through tonight, they would have had 4 games in 8 days in December, and it would have been a carnage schedule for them, much like what Newcastle had to face really last season when all the injuries were mounting up. A couple other things I wanted to mention in terms of the performance. Sean Longstaff on his 27th birthday, I thought he just, I know he's not everyone's favourite player and he's a local lad, but I think he just adds really good balance to the midfield, and I think he just allows TONALI to play. I think by him having, I thought when I saw the team he would be the holder, but it was actually TONALI that dropped in as the holder, and Longstaff was kind of getting forward. And I just think by having Longstaff in there, the stats tell. I mean, he's in the majority of Newcastle United winning performances. I think having him in there allows like a TONALI or a Bruno or Joe Linton to go and play a little bit. And you know, Eddie's going to have a decision on his hands. It'll be difficult to leave Sean Longstaff out on Saturday, and obviously won't want Bruno not to play. So, you know, looking at it now, I wouldn't be surprised if he brings Bruno in alongside Sean. TONALI sits there in the holding role again, and maybe pushes Joe Linton up to the front three wide left, and maybe ask Gordon to play on the right again, because he did that tonight to start with, and I thought Gordon did well out there. By the way, I thought he was lucky to stay on the pitch. Just about got away with that challenge in the second half. I think it was on Cucurella in the second half. But look, just enough to get away with it, and I think probably Newcastle needs challenges like that in a game like this to try and see them over the line. There's my mates going in and just telling me to wrap this up. But yeah, I've just got a couple of things I wanted to say. I thought Kelly was great left-sided centre half. On TONALI, I've been really surprised since he arrived that they've not played him in a holding midfield position, because he's done that before for Italy and he's got the intelligence to play there. I've been really surprised that they've not done that, and Eddie's resisted doing that, and he's played him more of a box-to-box number 8 getting forward. But I just thought that was a really intelligent, composed, professional performance from TONALI today, and I would like to see him in that position more moving forward. I think it would allow Bruno and Sean, if he plays, or Joe Linton to get forward and support the attack. I don't think they need TONALI doing that. I think TONALI just does such a good job in that role, and we saw that tonight. And you could see the supporters at the end just singing his name and, you know, showing their appreciation for him. I just had a feeling Newcastle would win tonight when I turned up. For anyone that was asking, I thought, you know, I think Newcastle are winning. Most people I spoke to said the same. I then saw the lineup and I thought Newcastle should get the job done, and I just think that gives you a real lift going into Saturday, and it was just what was needed. I think to have that to look forward to in December now, something in the calendar with a trophy tangible at the end of it, just lifts spirits, lifts morale, and I think it was really needed tonight. Actually, if you could have chosen between that and Arsenal on Saturday, I think this would have been the one you wanted to win. But at least now it takes you into Saturday's match against Arsenal full of positivity, and I wouldn't be surprised if you go and get something, or perhaps win that match again. So look, good night for all concerned. I think relief for Eddie Howe that you're through to the next round, and it's all been worth it when you see a draw like that. Yes, it's going to be a tough task, but it's a winnable tie, and perhaps Newcastle's name might be written on the cup. So that's it from me, guys. Leave your comments below. Good night for everyone concerned here at St James's Park as Newcastle move through to the last 8 of the Carabao Cup. Okay guys, see you in the next one.